November 14th, 2024. Tonight we're going to be dealing with Parks and Recreation Department and the Call for Whale Fund. Brian, could you lead us in the pledge, please?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Brian.
You're welcome.
Anytime. Oh boy, I forgot about that. Thank you.
Did you start it too?
Okay, any public comment? Okay, public comment. How about, Casey, what do you have? Anything before we start?
Did you want to, I had sent through Leanne a copy that was requested of the EDC ad that they put in the paper. I had also sent a copy of the spending. This particular ad is $1,100, and a copy of the invoice that was requested in the minutes and at the last meeting. So.
Okay, pull those up here.
And I did talk to Lucy Bankley, the chair, and we're having a meeting next Tuesday, so if there's anything else anybody would like to have me discuss with her, I can talk to her then too.
Okay. Is everyone good to move on from this? Yeah.
Just, I can cover it in other business if you want, or as long as we're on the subject, I just did one thing.
Yeah, might as well cover right now and get it out of the way.
Based on your kind offer, I'd like to see the detail behind the advertising for that whole.
Can I just ask for clarity what you're looking for, Bob?
I'm looking for the detail of the advertising items underneath that line item. I want to know who we're advertising with and how much each of those ads is costing.
Okay, I believe if you looked at what was sent today, this is a sample of the ad. They've done 3 with Yankee Publishing and Marker. They had an EDC fundraiser and JC Signs.
Well,
I think the JC
is
Signs.
that it?
Yeah, that's advertising.
Yep, so far.
I think JC Signs is.
Those are the actuals. I want to know what makes up the budget, the proposed budget. I want to know what. the-
Okay, that was the clarification I was looking for, because I sent out the actuals, so you're looking for what makes up the budget.
Exactly.
Okay.
Like the other department managers do for a lot of these items, a lot of money and a lot of items. We get all the detail underneath it.
Okay, and I do want to just say one thing. As I was looking at this as a follow-up item, I want to remind the committee that the town manager froze a lot of spending at the end of last year when we had an issue with Department of Revenue. So this in particular was one of the departments I didn't see a lot of fourth quarter spending.
Okay, we all set
I'm
on
not
that?
concerned about spending.
Okay, anything else, Casey?
I think that's it for me this evening.
Okay, let's jump into the Parks and Rec then.
Yep.
If I could, just give us a little bit of an update, what's been going on and how everything's going, that type of thing, that'd be great.
Before she does, can I just say, we're starting on page 6, which is a list of revenues. 6 and 7 are all the revenues per program, and then her budgets start on page 8. Go ahead, Sarah.
So I put a proposal together so you could see the programs that we offered this past year with how much we brought in for each program and the participants. And then on that second page, it's just same information but broken down by what is coming from the general fund and what is coming from the revolving fund. General fund is the one that's actually in the budget, so that's where we're offsetting that. And revolving, none of that hits the budget. These are revenues brought in, not necessarily profit, because we have expenditures, but this is just showing you what we took into our system. This year, we started last year. So we started seniors last year, or taking over the senior program, and we've continued throughout this year. We had the vote for a warrant article for bingo, which passed last year, and so we have been offering bingo on Mondays. Once a month we do a meal, and we've had a lot of good turnout. Our programs are growing. What we're finding for that senior program, it's a lot of socialization and helping with isolation intervention, health and wellness programs, brain health and cognitive functioning programs, information education and resources, because a lot of them don't have that. And just we've been able to have friendships for those seniors that might not necessarily have friends because their kids are grown up, they're new to the area. So just an avenue for them to meet people, and that's where they've been growing and meeting other people and participating in new programs. And through the summer, it was pretty steady, about 25 people coming for bingo. So we're interested to see what winter looks like, just because some people were traveling and busy and families were here, but now we'll see what happens in the winter. We've been getting a lot of good feedback on that. And then we've been doing our regular programming with youth and adults as well, so.
Okay, well, we've got the camera here. Why don't you tell the folks when the senior meal is?
So our next senior meal is Monday, November 18th. We do ask that you pre-register, but we try not to turn people away. But pre-registration is always preferred so we can prepare. But we do plan for roughly around 60 people. That's where we're at. And you can just call the office to register, or you can create an online account, which we're gladly willing to help you do. And you can also, we have our senior coordinator Tuesdays and Thursdays. You can stop by the community center, and they are there to assist as well.
Now, what about the coffee? Get together coffee?
That's coffee and conversations on Tuesdays and Thursdays from 10 to 12 at the community center. So it's just a drop-in program where you can meet seniors. There's resources there, a lot of information for people to gather.
And the bingo? When do we have bingo?
Bingo is typically on Mondays doors open at 9, bingo starts at 10.
And that's all down to the town hall?
Yes,
Okay.
it's uptown.
Thank you.
Yes.
Fantastic. Really is, really looks like it's doing very well.
Yeah, we have a good crew helping out, so we're lucky.
Any questions about any of the programs or the financial that they gave us?
I just like to ask Catherine, the revolving fund programs they don't intersect with our budget, correct? It's just it's an in-house thing, but they show up in the audit, right? They're listed.
I'm not sure, to be truthful with you. So they're in Fund 12. They could have a balance in there, but they're not part of the actual income and expenses because money in, money out. I'm sure the auditors are recognizing it, but I guess I need to follow up on that.
Yeah, I'd have to look at it again. Is that a similar situation with the police department revolving fund?
It is called a revolving fund, but it's technically just an account on the balance sheet, but yeah, money's going in and money's going out, meaning what we pay the officers, and then when the vendor pays us for the detail is going through one account. That definitely is part of the general fund, as usually a payable, because we're due to pay that money over to the police at some point when they do a warrant article to buy vehicles or something.
Yeah, we had an issue with that a few years back, but I was just curious. Thank you.
Yeah.
Anything else? Linda?
Yeah, Bob, we got all that cleared out, that detail, and got it all straightened out, and that's why you'll see when the warrant article comes out, there's a certain amount of revenue that we apply to that, instead of letting this big amount accumulate,
Okay.
because we take some money out for the card administration, and so that's what we've been applying.
Wasn't that the issue with that a few years back? There was money piling up in it.
Correct, you're absolutely correct.
In the last 2 years that or I guess it's now, 2 years, they took 10 out, 2 years ago, and they were going to take 3 out to offset the vehicle, but the warrant article failed
Okay,
last year.
right.
So I think we're back up around 10,000. We may be more, but come February, and I do think they're thinking of another warrant article. So we would take most, not all, of that account and apply it to whatever they're looking to purchase or lease.
Good.
Okay. I'll set there. Let's move on to page 8 we want to start on.
Yes.
Okay, any questions on the 100 series? 200. 300. 400. 500. 600, 700, and 800. What are we doing in professional development this year?
What have we done?
What do you want to do next year? Conference?
Yes.
Just you going, or?
I think on that one, I did try to put two other people to go to at least take some classes.
Okay. Okay, so this budget is up 0.34%.
Or $940.
Very good, thank you.
Parks maintenance is on page 13. This department's up 2.4% or $7,026.
Can you give me an idea next time how much we pay to Breeze Lane for all our internet access in the town?
Sure.
Okay, thank you. Park maintenance, 100 series. $200. $300. $400. $500. $600. All your trucks are gas, no diesel?
Yes.
Okay. $700 and $800. This budget's up 2.42%.
Page 19 is beaches. This department is down 2.9%, or down $3,688.
Uh, 100 series. Christine, you still having trouble getting lifeguards? You're pretty good.
We still struggle with it. We did end up having an aquatics coordinator who can now certify lifeguards. The only issue is we need to find a deep body of water to do some of the testing, but we have been calling around to try to partner with people. We're trying to get ourselves into the high school more to try to see if we can recruit people to train them. So it's a struggle, but we did end up getting some. I mean, when we do get lifeguards, it's just hard because not everyone has open availability and they're only here for a short period. So it's
Right.
trying to retain those people for a longer period.
Casey, how much is the difference between the 2024 proposed and the default? And then what we've got now, the proposed for 2025? You saying she asked originally for 60,000 in '24, got more in the default, and they've used 45,000 so far this year, and now we're up to 78.
So the roll-up of all becomes $6,000 less than the default. I'm rolling up all the 100s and 200s.
I did increase wages for lifeguards to try to retain some because
Okay.
that was part of the issue is that we weren't paying enough to secure lifeguards. So we upped that to hopefully see some action.
Okay, 200 series. $300. $400. $600. $700. $800. Christine, how about, I thought we used to have to do criminal record checks on some of the people who work for the town. Is that budgeted somewhere in here? Or-
$380 outside services, federal background checks, 15 at about $40 a piece.
Okay. I didn't look in the back, I just was looking at
No,
it.
that's,
Good, thank you.
John,
I just
Yes, sir.
found it first.
on the 341 communications, it says, you know, under the justifications, it says the same thing as the previous section did about the budget being moved to IT. But there's still $1,248 in there.
If I may, so if you recall, 2 years ago, I think it was, the town bought a new phone system, and the phone bills were being charged to everybody's department, with the exception of library, police, and fire did not come on, but Parks and Rec did. So what that's alluding to is that her actual phone maintenance, and when we get to IT, you'll see a list. I took that $420 out of her budget and put it into the IT budget. What we did do is leave the internet in the budgets, but the IT budget took on the actual phone maintenance because it's one bill from our carrier.
And the internet for that is actually the cameras at Brewster Beach.
Okay.
John,
Yes, sir.
I was just gonna ask about the
Wasn't written out.
cameras. I'm sorry, Brian, did I,
Almost said.
oh, okay. The cameras are still functioning, right?
Yes, and they are piped into the police department.
That was my second question, thank you.
Okay, so mine is 2.93% on beaches.
Next department is hockey rinks on page 25. This is up 9.3% or $9,342, and that's primarily because of ice, the cost of ice.
When you say cost of ice, do you mean just the energy component to make the ice, or
No, if you look on page 26, I'm sorry, I'll let you.
26, I got it? Okay.
No, just the price per sheet of ice. So the town actually purchases ice for us to put stick in public on instead of other users purchasing that ice. So they're paying for the rate of either $2.50 or $2.30 an hour.
Okay, gotcha.
So that time is then offset by whatever revenue comes in against it.
Yes, yes.
Thank you.
Do you have any idea of what that figure might be?
I
Yes?
think I actually listed that in the Pop Whalen budget.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure I did, I broke out. So you'll see it in the Pop Whalen budget. I have like the Dasher board app sales, stick and public together, and skate rentals.
Okay, we're all set on the document program. Page 27, Casey? is that-
Yes, sorry, page 27.
Yeah.
We were concurring on something. And this budget is down 7.5% or $10,820.
100 series, what's that program's all about? Is this hockey or which program is this?
Oh, so these are the programs that you saw on that sheet. These are the ones that we use the wages for. So it's day camp, the teen program, our soccer program,
Okay.
and our senior coordinator comes out of this budget.
Okay. 100 series? You gonna have enough money in the part-time wages to do all those programs, you think, with that amount, or you need a little more?
You want to give me more money is?
No, I think there's
Just
a lot
say
of value
yes.
to the programs that you do for the seniors and things like that, and I want to make sure you have enough money there.
Yes, I think we're good right now. I appreciate the offer, but I calculated out, so I think we're in good shape.
Okay.
But thank you.
200 series, 300 series, 400.
Quick question,
Yes, sir.
Chairman. On line 435, apparently some of that money was moved from 380 into 435, is that, am I reading this right?
Yes. So just full disclosure, I have so many budgets that I deal with, and it's interesting that some have items in 380 and some have them 435, but they're similar items that they should all be, like, for instance, the federal background check should have been all, like, some are in 435, but it should have been in 380, for instance. So I was trying to be uniform for all of them.
Okay. I guess my question is, in 380 and 435, are those basically all outside services? Or are some of them internal, done by your employees? I guess my question is,
No, outside.
shouldn't everything be in outside services if it's contracted out? And if it's not contracted out, then I would see putting it under building maintenance where our own people are doing it.
Right. Yeah, I guess I could go either way, because I was thinking building maintenance versus outside services, but I think because the budgets are so different, and it's been going on for years, I'm fine with whatever, but I think it is a discussion that we discuss and all be uniform in what we're doing. Are we saying, if it's an outside service, that's where it's going, even if it's building maintenance? And I'm fine with whatever, and I'll do whatever, but I just think my budgets are all over the place, so I'm trying to get them uniform, because if some of them are just the way it's always been, and we've just continued it. So I just want clarity, so I don't upset everyone that I change everything, but maybe more clear instructions, and I could put them all. So if you're saying you want all outside services, if we don't do it under there.
All I'm doing is questioning, well, whatever's easiest, but I just need some definition in my own head.
Yes, understood.
Most of the stuff in 380 and 435 is outside services, I would assume.
That's correct.
Yes,
If not all.
Okay, thank you.
you're welcome.
400, 500, 600, 800, and a decrease of 7.52%.
The next budget is on page 34, Community Center. This one is up 47.3%. However, it's only going from 7,000 to 11, an increase of 3,000, and that's primarily because of internet and security.
Okay, 300 series. 400.
Question?
Yes, sir.
On 435, again, is this outside contracted cleaning?
Yes, yes.
Thank you.
You know, I'm just thinking, you do it the way you want to do it, but I'm thinking anytime we have someone outside of our employees that we're paying a check, maybe we should just slot that in the outside service. That's just my opinion,
Yeah.
and for clarity's purposes, unless there's a better, more consistent way that you say. I'm just thinking logically, if we're paying someone to do it and it's not done internally, that would be an outside service.
However, I'm not discrediting whether it goes in 330 or 435. If it is our employees, it'll always be up in the 100s. We would never put any of our employees anywhere other than the 100s, no matter what tasks they're performing. I think, though, if we put everything in 380, and I can see an argument for that.
I think you're exactly right. I think just the way you said it is perfect.
Okay.
So 100s, that's where they are. This is just good.
Right. However, if we put everything in 380, and I don't know which way it should go, I really don't, but then we could, why aren't you maintaining your buildings? You're not spending any maintenance on the buildings. So what we're trying to do is like inspections and stuff as outside services, but when we're cleaning and trying to paint or take care of the buildings, we're trying to do maintenance. But I'm not trying to sway either way. I don't care if they're separate or together, but they would never be our employees.
I think the methodology is fine.
So then if we start getting really down to the nitty gritty, what would you do with porta potties? Are they rentals and leases, or are they outside services, Or
That's for you
are
guys to
they-
figure out, not me.
Depends who cleans them.
I was gonna say, they're outside services because somebody's coming in,
Yeah.
Yeah,
emptying them and.
but we have them under rentals and leases.
but
So what do we
Some,
do?
some of this stuff has
Correct.
been inherited.
It's a judgment call. So,
Well, I think your explanation is fine, that the 100 series people are in the 100 series people, and the rest of the stuff, if I'm reading it right, is 99% outside services,
If not
outside contracts.
100%.
Right.
Yeah.
It's outsourced.
I think I was trying to put like building maintenance, like things that were needed to keep the
Sure.
building running versus like something that was an inspection, although this one does say inspection, so ignore that, but usually that's what's
Well,
happening.
that- you know, when Casey said about the 100 series people, that clears it up for me.
Yeah.
You know, how you determine, define what's outside services and what's
Right.
building maintenance, that's your call.
Right, okay.
Okay, 400. 600. 700.
Next department is on page 36, town docks, and this,
Just go back to
sorry,
Uh,
sorry, John.
cleaning, $80 a week.
Good.
Say what, sorry?
Cleaning, $80 a week.
Mhm.
I'm gonna go off track here. Casey, do we have the main town hall cleaned?
We do. It's kind of a new,
Okay, but we're gonna have something in the budget for this year for cleaning services for the town hall.
right now, we still have the part-time person in there, and,
Okay.
but yet we are outsourcing it, so I'm not
Okay.
sure what the town manager's plan is, but
Okay.
we have money in there, it just happens to be in a part-time, but we are currently using an outside service.
Okay, thank you. Okay, sorry, we move on now.
I'm sorry, page 36, town docks. This is level funded.
Yeah. That's so successful for everybody that's gonna do. You guys that dock the boats and all that.
Good job.
You're welcome.
Okay, 100 series. 200 series. And 600 series. Are these pretty much being all filled by town employees?
That is correct. An overtime rate.
So that goes on their regular
Yeah,
account?
yeah, it gets charged here, but it's employees on an overtime rate. That's it.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Any more questions on the town dock?
I have a question on the town dock. Is the, if where it's done by town employees, I mean, is it possible to have that be a summer job or something up for the summer? No?
I believe it was
Didn't work?
put out there, and we didn't get people, and
Okay.
I think the hard part is when you have people coming, they're typically coming for a shorter period, and it's dictated, and it's like trying to piecemeal it versus you have people who know the area and are here all the time. So I think that does go a long way.
when the program started, it was an option, but we haven't been putting it out, I don't think, now, because we didn't get any people to do it.
It's probably cheaper using town employees than paying them overtime, I would think.
Then training people and
Yeah,
they're not having
workman's comp
availability.
and all that other stuff that you have to
Plus,
pay.
it's typically a position that's manned on the weekends,
Mhm.
Correct.
which works well for the town.
Right.
employees.
And if it rains, they don't come in.
Right.
Right.
Yeah, we're not guaranteeing any hours
No, we're not.
or,
Okay, patriotic purposes?
page 39, this also is level funded, 0% increase, $11,236.
So, is the Legion running this program pretty much, or,
Yes.
okay,
Yeah, we have them, they communicate with myself and we make sure we either pay the bills or submit POs or do what needs to be done, but we're working together.
okay. And they think this is enough money here to do their programs? every
Yes,
year?
every year I reach out to them and they submitted that this would work for them, so.
Okay, great, thank you.
Mhm.
Any questions on patriotic purposes? All the 800 series.
Page 41 is fireworks. I'm sorry, were we ready to move on?
Yeah.
Okay, sorry.
Thank you.
Page 41 is fireworks. This budget is up $1,500 or 11.5, but I believe that's because it's a multi-year contract.
Correct.
And this is strictly 4th of July.
Yes.
So what, did each year go up a little bit, like 5%?
Yes, I was in a 3-year contract, and we knew that when we signed it, and so
Okay.
it went up a little bit each year, and actually I have to go out to bid for the following year's contract, so I'm in the process of doing that.
So 26 or whatever.
Yes. 26, yes.
Any questions on fireworks?
There's just a question. So we've actually paid out 23,000, but we're budgeting 14,000?
So I think, for clarity, I think,
No, that's last year. 23,000 actuals is last in 2023.
2023, yeah. I'm just asking
Yeah.
for,
So last year we had donations for the laser show, and that was also put in this department. So there was an offsetting donation for the difference there.
oh, okay.
Will that be an ongoing donation, or is that a one-off?
It depends upon the organizer. Right? Well, could you repeat the question?
Yeah, I was just curious, you mentioned a donation
Softball.
to offset the laser show, and I was just curious if that was going to be a continuous donation, or will the event even
That's what I
continue?
was just trying to figure out, is where our donations for this past year are right now.
And I have an answer, hold on.
Yes.
Can we answer his question first? Will it be continuing? What we did is under the EDC budget, or under the, not EDC, yeah, under the EDC budget, there's a line item specifically for that. We went over it the other night, but we broke them out at the bottom of EDC, which is, what is it, last night is broken out, and the Lake Winnie light show.
Yeah.
So we're not commingling anything, so that's the difference between this year. But his question is, will the donations be continuing for this program?
If people donate. We go every year and we hit the bricks and we try and collect enough to have the event for the year.
Oh, okay, so this was a collective donations by businesses? and-
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
we had 22 or something donors
Mhm,
Yep.
mhm.
for the event.
Yeah.
or something
But
like
somebody's
that.
got to run the, the
Right.
charge nurse on that.
And last night Wolfeboro was out right now.
Yeah.
You know, he does it, and 6 months later, a little less than 6 months, we're out. But we've had very good success.
Mhm.
That's why I asked, that's why I mentioned last meeting, just like we do the fireworks, I'm hoping at some time, if these events that are community events continue and people enjoy them, that maybe we can work something into the budget so that we don't have to keep hitting the same generous donors in town. Because it's always the same folks that come to the front for this, unless anybody wants to write me a check right now. I'm ready to, and by the way, I always have to be supplemented with a little bit out of my pocket too, because we never make it to the finish line.
Thank you.
Okay, we're all set on fireworks, I guess.
Next department is page 43, the Clark House Complex. It is up 44%, which is only $5,592. And I guess I would like to say that the Board of Selectmen had added $2,000 to fix the exterior, because if you look on page 45, it might not be a great picture, but there's some part of the building being held by masking tape.
that's duct tape.
Duct tape.
Great duct.
Oh, sorry. Well, masking tape was
I thought it
not.
was white.
It is white duct tape.
Okay.
I couldn't believe it.
Yeah, you can get that. I got some.
Yeah.
The whole night house
Get
together.
it right. That's what we have the Clark House together with.
Do they charge a fee to go into the Clark House? Is it a fee?
What was the question?
Do they charge a fee to go into the Clark House?
Clark House?
I don't believe so.
We do not. How's
We do
that?
it. It doesn't come in anything into the town coffers, but I don't recall seeing.
I will double check on that.
All right, another quick question, when they have the different people there to sell things, do they charge the people that come there and set up? You know, they have the fairs, whatever, do they charge a certain fee for
Yes,
that?
they do. I think they make money off of that, so people do have to pay the Historical Society some money for their table.
X amount of money to set up the table.
I think that's what
It's
it
a
is.
one shot and, you know,
I mean,
So-
they keep those fees or whatever?
Yeah, so I will say this, I should have attached something to it. Typically, that program line, which is 8:30, we give to them, that we cut a check to the Historical Society. However, they actually spend more than that. I think it's closer to 9,000. I will get the paper and I can submit it to you. But that's where they're getting it through their little fairs or whatever they're doing. They're making up that difference for their programs. And I do believe most of the schools go there for a field trip as well, and they're doing education things there.
So we will take it as a follow-up, to find out if they charge a fee. We don't believe we get that. Do they charge for tables? We heard yes, but we can get clarification. And we'll look at, the 3,600, I believe we give them.
I know we give them the 40.
Oh, the 4,400 that we give them, and how much they're actually spending. So
Yes,
like a
I have a
profit-
sheet and I can-
Profit and loss. We'll take that as a follow-up.
And I will say this budget is up because in 435, I have to do a hydrostatic test every 5 years for the fire suppression system, and it is due, and that's why that is up that high.
You answered my question. Is that, so is this $1,250, is that once every 5 years?
Yes.
Or you?
Nope, so they came and told me, and I was like, oh gosh, so it has to be done this year, and I think the same thing you'll see in Pop Whalen, we're due for that, for Abenaki, one of them we're due for.
So we won't see it again?
No, we will, we'll pull it out next
5
year,
years later?
right.
Okay, thank you. That was, you answered my question.
Okay.
Okay, guess you're all set with 300, 400.
Page 46, cemeteries.
Okay.
This is down $13,161 or 41%.
So for this one, we actually have lost the people who were doing our restoration. They moved on, so we have to train some new people, and we've had changing of the guard at Parks and Rec. We actually, on Monday, will be filling our last maintenance person. So we want to get that program up and running again, but we don't have anybody to fill it right now, so I did cut that down a little bit until we can get that up and running at full capacity.
Good, we cut off almost in half. You get enough people to mow the lawns? Is that part of the cemetery, mowing the lawns?
Yes, so we have, it's a collaboration with maintenance and cemetery, so we have some money first in there, but we'll utilize the people we use for maintenance that will go in to use those hours for cemetery.
So they'll all look good.
Right. I haven't heard any complaints in
I
there.
haven't, I'm not complaining,
It's very quiet.
Quiet group.
Yeah.
You're my favorite customers.
Okay, 100 series, 200 series, 400, 600, and 700. Just a quick question, my general knowledge. When someone buys a grave, that shows in revenue, someplace in revenue?
No, it doesn't, because it will temporarily, but then it gets sent over to the trustees of trust funds who use it as lot proceeds.
Okay.
So it's still town money, but it doesn't hit the general fund.
What about when someone passes away and they have to get buried? We don't do the burying, do we?
No.
Someone else comes in and does that?
That's correct.
Do we pay for that, or does the family pay for that?
The families pay for that. We might have 1 or 2 clients that go through welfare.
Right, okay. Okay, any questions on cemeteries?
The next department is Abenaki on page 49. This department is up 42.9%, or $72,769.
Okay, so for this budget, first I wanna, you all know Bo Betts, who's the Assistant Parks and Rec Director. Well, he is actually taking on the role as the Operations Manager for Abenaki. So we have hired someone for Pop Whalen, and we're splitting that, so he'll be managing Pop Whalen, and then Bo is gonna take on Abenaki. So Bo, tell us about this budget. No, just kidding. Just kidding.
Let's wait for it.
So I was not in charge last year of Abenaki or Pop Whalen. I was focusing on Parks and Recreation. I am now back supervising both of these facilities. So I came into it a little late in the game with the budget to make sense of some of the information. So I did my best in here because there were things put in here that weren't in there before that I tried to move around. So you'll see in that 380, I have items from 433 and 435. So please bear with me on that. I also, in the part-time wages, I did increase that to be more transparent on what we needed for snowmaking. We did last year inherit snowmaking for the cross-country trails that they did believe reimburse us for that. But it is something that we have to do, so there will be revenues from there to offset some of this. And we are keeping a better tracking system of that. I think that's it for now. We are also getting a new groomer this year, so I do need some clarity on some of the expenses with the annual maintenance of it. So, that.
And if I may,
Yes, you may.
so when you go to the 100s, this new restructuring of Bo as the operations of Abenaki, the budget has not been changed. So you can see 25% of the old position is still on page 54. So this budget will be coming down, not the 34,000 because that includes insurance, but we will be requesting an entry to move that 113 from this department.
So he'll be paid in one particular line in the entire Parks and Rec budget?
He'll continue to be paid out of admin where he's 100%
Okay.
then, but the old director of operations in Pop Whalen was in Abenaki was a 75 Pop Whalen and 25 Abenaki. That arrangement, financial arrangement, is no longer valid, and it just happened. That's why this is not updated.
Okay, so do we need to do a motion to subtract 18,751?
If you may, I'd like to revisit this because we'll have to also take out the health insurance. So when we do general government with health insurance,
Yeah.
I'll just put it as a revisit, if
Okay,
that's okay
very
with you.
Okay, 100 series. Big jump in part-time wages.
So I will say that we did increase the chief snowmaker and groomer hour rate, and also we needed to utilize, when we are making snow at night, it is imperative that we have 2 people versus 1, and we weren't doing that correctly. And just for safety and liability, we need to have 2 people. So that is why you were seeing that.
How does that work? Who tells when the guys go out and do the work? Is it set schedule in the wintertime? They do it on Monday, Wednesday, and Fridays, or?
For snowmaking?
Yeah.
So snowmaking is a little, we're looking for, do you want to speak on this? Because you're an expert.
Sure, I'm not
Okay,
an expert,
yes.
but I'll do my best. So Dave Whitcomb, who is our head snowmaker, he came on last year. He is a wealth of knowledge. He used to he was the director over at Lost Valley Ski Area. So he's a great resource for us. Snowmaking, a lot goes into it, and we're trying to do our best in educating the community in snowmaking, because a lot of people, like tonight, will go outside and say, it's cold out, why aren't you making snow? Well, there's a couple different factors. Temperature obviously plays a huge role, but humidity is a big key. If the humidity is too high, no matter how cold it is, you can't make optimal snow. So we're really looking at the calendar, looking at a long-term forecast, and just looking at a 2-week window where we can blow snow. So we're looking for the proper wet bulb temp, which is a combination of humidity and temperature. So we're looking for low humidity and low temps. So tonight would not be a good night for snowmaking because humidity is in the 60s around midnight.
Right.
So we're looking towards end of November, ideally the first week of December. We're looking for that window where we can turn on the guns, turn on the system, and blow as much snow as possible in that time frame. It's great if we can turn them on for a couple hours overnight, between 12 and 5, 6 a.m. But we're really looking for a window where the temps and the humidity stay low enough where we can blow through the day as well. Because that's where we're going to get, those big piles of snow that you'll see on the hill.
Question for you on your second person with the snowmaking as opposed to one. That should also increase your productivity as well, because rather than one guy lugging the things, you've got two, and one looking out for the other, and vice versa.
Right, and with the upgrades to the snowmaking system that were made a few years ago, we used to be dragging like miles of hoses all over the place and moving guns. Now that we have guns on all of the hills, all the trails, we're not moving as much hose, but it takes a little bit off of the snowmakers. But to Christine's point, it is a huge safety thing. That's a lot of pressurized air coming into those pipes. God forsake one of those pipes pops as they're adjusting or moving a gun, they're left alone on the hill by themselves. So having two people there is crucial.
Makes sense.
Linda?
I'd like to point out that all those guns were paid for by the Friends of Abenaki.
Correct.
So
Yeah.
they have given us huge amount of equipment up there. Did something that will probably save us in terms of the number of man hours.
I will say, Friends of Abenaki and the Outing Club have really been, very helpful to Abenaki. They love it and they're very supportive. Tonight we had a ski fitting over there. We have one in a couple of weeks, I think. Just so people can rent seasonal skis for the whole season. Ski Works comes out and you can rent them for the season. But we do have rentals available daily. Because we are so popular, sometimes we run out, so we encourage people to rent those seasonal rentals.
What's the season pass? Which is that?
So youth resident season pass is $50 for the season.
Okay.
Adult is $100, senior $75, and then we have a family pass for $250, and you can have up to 6 people on the family pass.
Okay.
Living in your household.
Yes, under one household.
And even if you get a season pass, you have to go get your ticket every time, right?
Correct.
Okay.
And we do that so we can keep track of numbers and who's coming and
Good idea.
so they know.
And the Outing Club now has 133 children skiing in it, which is the same amount as the Back Bay Hockey. So you have as many kids using the mountain now as you have using the ice arena. And that doesn't even count
Yes.
the regular general population too. So the hill is very popular. And very well
Are the
used.
schools doing anything?
So, it's hard for the schools for skiing, because just having all those skis for that size, so not really skiing. We do have, Carpenter School will come out and do their winter fun days over there.
Okay.
But we do have a lot of schools who are utilizing the ice rink and coming for ice skating. And we had an issue with not having enough sizes. The community rallied, and we have rental skates, but we were short on some sizes, so they rallied and they did, the Friends of Kingswood helped buy 32 pairs of skates, and then we got some skates donated, and from the ski and skate sale, we got some skates donated. So we're in the process of just finding homes to house those skates that we have now, but we're getting there.
Very good. Okay, we've done 100. Let's go to 200. 300.
Question, Mr. Chairman?
Yes, sir.
Line 380, again, I know this is where,
Yeah, this one was, I struggled with this one because there was so much stuff here and I wasn't really sure, so.
so again, all this stuff is outsourced.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Okay. 400.
All right, question?
Yes, sir.
410? Electricity, what is the big contributor to that increase of $4,500?
So that would be when we're doing, we have to rent well, we don't have to, but we have rented a compressor in the past when we're making snow, and that really drives it up. So when we're making snow, that really drives up the electricity.
Is that due to the snowmaking pump? Is that what
Yeah.
you're hearing? So that's kind of a variable depending on the weather, right?
Yes.
Okay. And I assume then what you've done by putting in this $9,964 for the snowmaking pump, you're optimizing that.
So like I said, I wasn't in charge of it last year, and we had changing with the increase of the cross-country trails as well. So I kind of went off of what we had. I'm not sure if it will look like this year, just because they rented a bigger compressor last year, and we don't think we need that. So it might look a little different, but I went off of last year. It won't be spent if it's not needed, but as of right now, it looks like that's what they spent, and it's hard to get a clear gauge if that is necessary, because we had the new snowmaking for cross-country, and then the compressor, so I don't know if it was that or the compressor. So that's where I'm at with that.
Okay.
Okay?
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Passes for the cross-country, is that ours also?
No. So that goes to the Cross Country Association. We do, we will sell passes there at Abenaki,
Okay.
just because, just for good customer service. We had a lot of people coming through, and then they would get all dressed to go cross-country skiing, and we're like, you have to go get your passes downtown. So I have a good working relationship with the cross-country organization, and we actually sell them because we have a good computer system. We can keep track of it, and then we just give them a check at the end of the season. So it's helpful because you'll have parents who are dropping their kids off at the hockey rink or dropping their kids off at the ski area, and then they're utilizing those cross-country trails that the cross-country organization maintains them. And we're lucky enough that we utilize them when we do our progressive ski dinner, or if we have any Parks and Rec events.
So we don't groom the trails?
We don't, they groom the trails.
They purchase their own groomer.
Mhm.
Oh,
And
really?
they go throughout the town grooming all sorts of trails.
Yes.
I'm gonna ask probably a stupid question, I should know the answer because I worked up at Bretton Woods, but is it some mystery chemical you put in the water to make the snow, or is it just all the water, just
Water coming right from that.
really?
So don't eat it.
No.
And now we have,
From the
now
pond.
now we have
From
a 3K, it's 3K, right, dedicated loop that is snowmaking that they put for cross-country skiing. So that's probably adding to the electricity a little bit too for the snowmaking, because now they will have a dedicated loop, so even when the weather isn't cooperating, you'll be able to cross-country ski on that 3K loop. And the school will be able to train, and the school will be able to have their meet. Their meet every year, which sometimes we had to cancel if there wasn't enough snow.
Yeah.
And we're excited because we do our progressive ski dinner, which is you cross-country ski out to an appetizer station, a dinner station, a dessert station, and then you come back. But every year we've had snow, and then it would either rain or something would happen. And so a couple years ago, we had them just at the base of the mountain, and then we let them go ice skating because we didn't want to cancel it. But now we're going to actually change the loop and use the dedicated loop that we're making snow on, so it won't be an issue. So we're actually pretty excited about that.
But the section that's down by Sewer Road, was that Sewer Woods? Is that right? Is that, what does that have to do with us? Anything at all? Can you go from Abenaki? You must have to cross the road or something, right?
You
to get to
can.
that?
Yes, you can, you just take your skis
You go
up, put
across
them on
the
your
main
shoulder,
street.
and just walk across the
Okay.
street.
That's like portaging a canoe.
Yeah,
Yes.
Yeah.
and you also have to walk across that other road at the base of the hill. What's that road that goes up from Barney?
Oak Street.
No.
No. I
Filter
know what
bed.
you mean.
What is it?
Filter bed.
Filter bed, yeah, you gotta go, yeah.
Snowshoeing, you guys do the snowshoeing up there?
They do have some snowshoe trails, but it's pretty specific. I mean, at Parks and Rec, we do have trail maps, and I believe on the cross-country ski association, they have trail maps on there. So it shows you all of them at School Woods and over at the Abenaki area.
A lot of the Single Track Alliance bike trails were at one time the rougher cross-country, rougher snowshoe trails.
Okay.
And they cleaned them to use them as bike trails, so they're now dual-purpose trails.
Okay, good. Okay, 200, 300, 400?
Question?
Yes, sir.
I guess 433 and 440 are my questions. We've got the Bombardier Groomer annual service of $8,586. And down below that, the rental and leases. I'm assuming that's the lease purchase for the groomer, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay.
And that was what I was saying, is that Bombardier Groomer annual service, I did reach out to the company to see what it would be. I don't have, they didn't get back to us yet, but I just kept in what we had previously. So I'll find out if that could go up or down. It most likely go down, I would say.
So they'll come up and do all the maintenance and all that stuff on it?
Yes.
Good.
But we also figured if we get the groomer next week or whatever, that it's going to be a whole year, you know? We might need to be doing the warranty work or maintenance work next November.
And is the old one going to be traded in, or?
Yes.
Yeah.
For $15,000.
So potentially for the next 7 years, we're looking at $22,000 plus the, let's say, $8,000 for maintenance, so we're looking at $30,000 for the cost of that groomer. Correct?
Correct, but however, I'm not sure what the Board of Selectmen is going to do, but I was trying to look for the interest rate. I'm sorry for being on my phone. We were putting $25,000 into a capital reserve fund for Abenaki. So I'm not sure if they're going to keep that, add it, decrease it. So I can't sit here right now and tell you it's a $22,000 increase.
That was my next question. How much is in that Abenaki capital reserve fund as we speak?
I don't think I have that in front of me right
You got a
now.
rough idea?
Oh, no, I can. Sorry, I do know this answer. It's approximately $75,000. So the groomer, if you look, is going to cost $230,000. We're trading in $15,000. We're taking $75,000 out of the capital reserve fund. Not depleting it, but pretty much depleting it. And we're only financing $140,000. So that's where you get the $22,000 over 7 years.
And it's financing with the Bombardier?
No, Bombardier is the old machine. We get a new machine called a Bison something, Bison 10 something. And I could follow up in a minute and look it up. And what was the other question? Bombardier?
That was it.
Okay, no, it's not Bombardier. It's a Bison machine from a company called Preno. And did you have anything else to add?
Yeah, I just want people to realize the reason we established that capital reserve account, because most of that equipment was donated to us. And we were trying to save to not have something similar to what happened with the groomer. They purchased the original groomer. They've just now done a whole bunch of snow heads. And so we really should make that capital reserve fund start functioning for why it was set up, and that we put the money in yearly so we don't have these big bills.
They also paid the majority of the tab to build the lodge. They
Correct.
paid. And
Correct.
they also paid to have the, it's probably just the one pump for the snowmaking. And I believe when they did that warrant article, they teamed up the pump for snowmaking with the pump for the sprinkler system in the old Hop Whale now, right? So, but.
Yeah. So, I mean, we've got a huge gift from them.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, they put a fortune into that place.
Yes, absolutely.
And the details I was trying to look up with my phone in my hand is it's a Bison X Snow Groomer, a 2021 Prenoth Bison X Snow Groomer, and the interest rate is 7.477.
And we bought it from that Prenoth company.
That's
right?
correct.
It was a traded-in unit to them, so they'll be doing the service, they understand the machine, it's going to be a good program back and forth.
Okay, let's move on. 400 series, 500. The 600.
I have a question, Joe.
Yes, sir.
Line 636, diesel, big jump.
That was that snowmaking compressor required diesel. And because we had increased making snow, they did it a little longer because of the cross country. So we did get some revenue back from that. I don't
Okay, so
know.
that line is totally the snow making pump?
It's the compressor. Also, is that for Abenaki
The
too?
diesel for the groomer as well.
Yeah, does that, so it's the compressor
In the groomer.
and the groomer, and for the machine up top of
No,
that?
that's gas.
Okay. So compressor and for the, what's the
Groomer.
groomer, sorry.
Okay, all right, good, thank you.
Okay, 700 series. 800.
Yeah, go in here.
Okay, this budget's up 42.94%, which will go down because we're gonna take out,
The 113 line, right?
Yeah, the 113 line and the benefits that go along with it, which will be up in general government.
yeah, okay.
So this, Parks and Rec has one capital outlay, or would you like to go to Pop Whalen first?
Let's do Park Whalen while we're right.
Okay. Pop Whalen has its own section.
Yeah, great call.
Just had a question, going back to beaches and cyanobacteria. Is the town, I don't know if it's liable, but is there any expenses that is incurred as a result of cyanobacteria in the beaches and things like that?
Well, we're not charging for the beaches, so we wouldn't be losing any revenue because we're not charging for them.
I mean, do we just wait until it dissipates,
Yeah.
The state-
basically?
The state pays.
Once it's spotted, it's reported to the state puts a warning out, they come back and test, and when it is gone, then they release the warning to the beaches.
So there's no real expenses we should be,
No real expenses and no revenue loss.
Most of that is in Wolfeboro Waters, that's in the executive. They are doing all those volunteer testing and the town has equipment that they can take a sample, know whether it's cyanobacteria, and they'll call the state and the state will come down.
thank you.
But that's out of Wolfeboro Waters.
Parks and Rec does test, but we're testing for E. coli. We do it once a month for our beaches when we have them up and running. But the other tests are done through the state. The E. coli test used to be done through the state, but when COVID happened, they kind of stopped doing that. So our water department, they're testing the buildings, they test our water too, and they drop it off when they drop off the building water samples.
The other organization that's working with Wolfeboro Waters is the Wentworth Watershed Association, which they have
Right.
similar contacts and with the E. coli and so on and so forth, it does dissipate and a lot of it goes away as colder weather comes as well.
Well, I'll say
Cyanobacteria.
no to that. We had an outbreak in Winter Harbor 2 weeks ago.
Really?
So that isn't the case. And it is in Wolfeboro Waters, we have Wentworth Watershed Association, the Winnipesaukee Association, Russ Pond, and we meet once a year with Mirror Lake also. And we're all pooling our resources and working together to try to figure out how we handle this. So it's a great collaborative.
Yeah, cyanobacteria is naturally occurring. It actually lives under the ice in the Arctic. It's a matter of when you give it too much to eat.
So,
No, well, just
Well,
things that get into the lake that don't occur naturally.
Cyanobacteria.
Thank you.
Okay, Casey, where do you want to go to now?
I believe you said you wanted to go to Pop Whalen?
Yeah, page 2, is that what it's now?
Page 1 is the personnel administration for that department. This one kind of goes along with, since we just hired, hasn't even started yet, a new person that'll be the operations manager of Pop Whalen. We will have to revisit the salary here. And again, the 25% coming out of Abenaki's kind of got to go back into Pop Whalen.
Okay, so we've got to take...
If you look on page, excuse me 1 second. The top of page 10, you can see that that's a 75%. So like that 18,000 and
Okay.
benefits needs to change. That needs to be 100% of the new position that's hired, and I don't even have that PAR right now, but will before, as a follow-up when you get to general government.
Okay. So basically, these numbers aren't accurate for us to talk about tonight.
Not the salaries, no, that's correct.
Health insurance and all that stuff?
Yeah, that would be part of general government anyways. Like we put in a full family and I don't even know what this person is a family, two-person or single. They start next week, so we don't even have that information yet.
Wouldn't that be here though, that the enterprise fund's health insurance numbers stay with the enterprise fund?
That's
right?
correct, yes.
And let's talk about this as an enterprise fund.
Okay,
This is revenue generated. It shouldn't come out of the tax general fund, right?
that is correct. Any enterprise fund should be, their revenues should be covering their expenses.
Okay. Thank you. Okay, I guess we can do the part-time wage, well, no part-time wages, hourly wages, 130s. They up to full strength as far as the part-time people, like Zamboni people and all that stuff?
So we have our 2 full-time people that are trained. We have some part-time people that are trained. We're in the process of training more people. Looks like our workforce over there is now 65 plus. We have a lot of retired people working for us at Pop Whalen.
Not Dave Seneca, was it?
No, not No,
I thought
and actually
Dave was going to do that this year.
yeah, I don't know that.
Okay.
But I will say, it's pretty amazing. If you haven't been over there, like the crew we have working for us, just a plethora of knowledge, just their experiences and what they've done in their life and the stories you hear, you're just like, wow, I'm around some pretty amazing people. And they really do love Parks and Recreation. We have a great, they love it so much that they are here in the winter, which is nice because all my college kids and high school kids are in school. And then they actually are in the summer too. The only hard part is they are retired, so they pretty much dictate their schedule to me. So I don't have them all the time like I'd like to, but I work with their schedule. So we do have quite a few people rolling through, but they might work 1 day a week, 2 days a week. But it really is, we're very happy over there. I will say that we've hit the right group of people because we've been trying to get those kids and they're not coming, and so now we have their grandparents. But we love it.
The new person that you folks hired, do you see him trying to make that into more of an all-year-round facility?
Yes, actually, he comes with a lot of experience in that hockey world with running tournaments. He just called me today and had a great idea, and he thinks he has a big opportunity for us. So he's very excited to get going, and I think that's why we kind of divided Abenaki with Pop Whalen, because it's really 2 different things, and his expertise is really in that Pop Whalen. So I think it's going to be a good fit, and I'm hoping it will work for everyone.
Relatively local?
He does have a place locally, yes. He has 2 places, so he can be local or he can go back to where he was. So.
Okay, so we got revisit on the salary line for supervisor. 200 series. Probably have to revisit those also, right? The
Yeah,
Social Security,
so
retirement, all that.
just for that one person, that's
Okay.
correct. But also, to Bob's point, when I go to change the insurance rates anyways, that's when I would, know if he's a single, a 2-person, or a family. So, but yes, it would stay with Pop Whalen, but I still have that opportunity to change the rates.
And you gotta change them anyway.
Right, exactly. So I would also take the opportunity to true up what his actual insurance package is.
Okay, committed series. What's a concession? Is that open now, or?
Yes, so this was due that you put this in here for clarity to show what was being.
So they've always had concession revenue and expenses, but it wasn't visible anywhere. I believe you were putting it all in admin just under your Parks and Rec. We decided to break it out in 24 so we could start seeing how much we're buying on stuff that we're selling, and hopefully that is breaking even, if not making a profit. So it's not a new thing, but it's new visibility.
Is that ice skates and stuff like that, or is it the food?
That's typically, concession is mostly food, if we have any hats, if we did hats or mugs or anything, but it's basically food items.
And your staff mans the concession stand or whatever it's called?
Yes, as of right now, we are manning that, yes.
Okay, any questions on 300 besides mine?
I have one.
Yes, sir.
This is just a question of curiosity, and one of our favorite topics, the administrative cost allocation. I was just curious as to why it got bumped to 23.8 from the 21.
I could take you to the front of the book where I have a worksheet, but we could save that for another time. But it's primarily, believe it or not, is because the director of operations got a new computer, so there's a new IT component to Pop Whalen, is one
okay.
thing. And we do an allocation to all the enterprise funds, water, sewer, electric, and Pop Whalen. You know, it's part of billing, which is not Pop Whalen, but billing gets allocated there, a little bit of IT, Jim, me, you know, a lot of that. But I looked at it too, a big chunk of it is because they now have computers at Pop Whalen. They also have a couple that are just, you know, sign on.
POS systems.
POS
Point of
systems.
sale.
So they now get a charge for IT.
Yeah, this is actually very good. I remember a few years back when we were really talking about this. The numbers are like in the 40,000 range. If you, Christine probably remembers that. So
Yes.
this 23.8 actually looks pretty good.
I believe in 2019, which was before I got here, a new methodology was
Yes, it
worked
did.
on. So I've been using that the 4 years I've been here, and it did bring it down at that point. But
Yes.
it was before my time.
Right.
I made little tweaks, but pretty much we're following
Yes.
that same method.
Yeah, Bob Lohman and I were hound dogging that a little bit. So it's yes, the former finance director, he worked out a formula for us. Thank you.
You're welcome. And we can, maybe when general government or it comes up again,
Yeah,
we
okay.
can revisit that worksheet, but it is in your books under summaries.
Yeah. Good.
Do you have cameras in there, Christine?
We are in the process of, so we will have one down the hall where the locker rooms are,
Yeah.
and then we are putting some outside the facility.
Nothing inside?
Well, I'm sorry, I correct myself. Also, we have Live Barn, which is on ice. So that is the subscription service, but you can watch on ice. But the only camera that we'll have in the building will be down that hallway because we have the locker room
Right.
leases, just so we can watch that. But the way I have it for the cameras outside, it will be so we can see who enters the facility from that area. We can see who enters the front door and eyes on maintenance and Abenaki as well.
That's all, you have a record, a permanent record of that, or does that just? you walk in and that's it?
I think it's good for so many days, and then I think it goes away. It's just like, I think the pavilion and Brewster, I'm sorry.
So that survey you mentioned about watching the hockey rink or whatever, if I went on there now, what would I see? Would I see people out there, is it just during games or?
So we typically have it set up for games. They don't really like it set up for practices, but it would be for games. Do we have it for public skate? Is it on?
It's on, yes.
Yeah, so if there's public skating, it would be on.
Okay.
But typically, it's really beneficial for like Brewster parents if they
Right.
can't be in the area, or grandparents who can't go to a game, or inclement, you know, if they don't want to get out and drive. So, I mean, there is a fee that you have to pay for it. We do get a little bit of, if so many people sign up, we get some revenue for it that I put back into the Pop Whalen, so it kind of helps. Every little penny helps.
When on the fees, everyone pays the same, or is it, if it's noon time, it's a little cheaper than if it's at 6 o'clock at night, or?
Yep, so right now, we are going to be re-examining our fees, but right now it is $2.30 an hour from Monday until Friday at $3.59. Then Saturday at 4 o'clock, Friday at 4 o'clock on through Sunday is $2.50 an hour.
Okay. So if a tournament, they rent the whole place for 8 hours, it's still, there's no special deal, it's all
Nope.
the same?
Nope.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
But as Christine said, we've been charged, Christine and I and the new gentleman, to look at the rates, maybe propose some new rates, but that would be for the following season, for anybody who's not in contract when the rates go into effect.
Right.
400 series. $500.
I have a question.
Yes, sir.
435. Fairly large jump there, 46%. I'm just wondering what's driving that. A 5-year average is like $13,000, and all of a sudden we're jumping up to...
I was looking it up, but the 24 actuals is at 33,000, so. Looking at 435.
The problem is that the 2022 skewed everything.
I'm just questioning, making sure that we're valid here.
Yes,
And
so,
and we need it. and we
yes,
gotta
so
do
it, again, this is what I inherited last year, so I'm kind of going off with the new system. We're still trying to understand, but we have to strip and wash the floor. We have to rent a special floor cleaner for that, to do that. We are utilizing the facility in the summer for pickleball, so we tape all the lines to put pickleball courts in there.
So if I'm looking at it right, 435, building maintenance, what I see causing the issue was the 2022 actuals at only $2,700, and that was because we were rebuilding a new rink and there was no maintenance there. If you take out that number, then that 46% goes.
Yeah, it'll drive up to 5 years.
Yeah, that 46% almost disappears.
It's an aberration. Okay,
Yeah.
we'll take a look at it next year.
Yes, I think just changing of the guard and understanding the building, and
Okay.
I think it will be a little different next year.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, 500. $600.
Question?
Yes, sir.
Propane on the Zamboni, and I guess it's just clarification. I don't understand the detail. I'm looking at the Zamboni tanks at 35, quantity of 89. What does that all mean?
So the Zamboni is a propane system, so there's actually tanks of propane that get put on the Zamboni that they have to trade out. So that is, that we have so many, I don't know, do they do 3 tanks a day or something? There's so many tanks, right? Yeah, so they have to trade out the tanks.
Okay.
So it's looking like 89 tanks at $35 a piece.
Right.
Yeah, okay, all right. So and that's what drives the machine as well as heats the water and does all the good stuff that a Zamboni does?
Yes,
It's all
yeah, so
run
the
by-
gallons are for the actual, the water that's in the building, but the Zamboni tanks are what is for the Zamboni. That's why, and you pay for it by the tank versus by the gallons.
Okay.
That's why it's
And
separated
those
out.
tanks are what run the Zamboni physically, I
Right.
mean, it's
Yes.
like gas tanks.
Yes,
Thank you.
you're welcome.
Is it just one Zamboni over there? Do you have a spare?
No, we don't have a spare, and that Zamboni, we need to start thinking about the future for it.
Okay. Those are, what are those, like 65 or 70,000?
So if anyone's willing to donate, we'll,
Here's the next donation.
Okay, I'll leave off here. 700 series. Got enough in there for building repairs or improvements? $1,000.
yes, I mean, we're still a new building, and I have a great crew that's taking care of it and take pride, so I think we're in a good shape right now.
800 series. Casey, can you just explain a little bit about the debt principal on the debt service principal and the debt service interest, so folks will understand that? What
And
that
then,
payment's for, or whatever?
yep, well, mostly it's for the new building, and it was determined that the Pop Whalen budget would pay for 17.2% of the loan for the new building for the town's portion.
Okay, any questions for, on Pop Whalen?
I will say I'm sorry, I did have all the information on the bottom of this, but Casey informed me it didn't print, so you would have had the revenue, so I will submit that to you for our revisit.
Yeah, she had put, at the request of the selectmen, you know, what stick ice was, what practice ice was, and it is here, but you can only see line 1.
Did it show up in Abenaki too?
I don't know.
I did it for Abenaki as well.
I don't know, but they look-
Yeah, I'll make sure, because I had it in Abenaki as well, so I'll make sure I have those for you next time, so you can
Thank
see.
you.
You're welcome.
Okay, we're going to capital outlay, or?
Capital
Yes.
outlay, page 33, the Parks and Rec did have 2 others. They had a Clark House Museum Engineering for $17,300, which was taken out by the Board of Selectmen. It is still in your budget books, but it is not being put forward. It is being paid for out of the '24 budget, and also a John Deere walk-behind mower, same thing, $5,986, taken out by the Board of Selectmen to be paid out of '24 budget. So what is in front of you is the tennis basketball court maintenance of $85,000.
Yeah, we just did that 2 years ago.
So this is, it has to be resurfaced every 6 years. And so those few years ago were 6 years, sir.
Okay.
It's going by fast. This was actually higher than I thought, because originally when we had done it, it was like $8,000 pre-COVID, and so I wasn't sure I was getting quoted on the right item. But we did some research, and it does seem like this is correct. We are in the process of retaining other quotes just to make sure. But this is something that is important to maintain tennis courts, because there are so many people who do not. And once you stop maintaining them, then you have to rebuild them. And I know we don't want to do that. And I know also the pickleball and tennis community would be very upset with us.
And so Linda and I met with Joe Santoro to find out if the pickleball community could help donate towards the repair, and they're saving all their nickels and pennies in order to build a new pickleball facility when they can find a location. But Joe was very good to Linda and I, and has a friend who builds courts and repairs courts and is involved in the pickleball and tennis courts, and that's where we got some extra names that we passed to Christine, and she's going to do as much research and get as many cost estimates as we can get.
So when they have a pickleball tournament down there, we don't get any money at all?
We have not in the past. I am currently researching that though, because I think for the future, when we are charging at courts, we should be getting some revenue for it. So it is something that I've been tasked with to see what other communities are doing and put a proposal together. So I'm currently working on that.
Okay, so it's just the tennis court we're looking at then, huh?
Yes.
Question, as we're looking at this tennis court, are you getting any, I guess I can call it vandalism in these courts?
No. There's a lot of pickleball people there to let me know if anything's going on. So no, it's hard to get on those courts. No, we do have cameras down at, they don't go as far as the pickleball courts, but it's in the vicinity of the pavilion area, so we can see stuff, but we don't see a lot. We actually, did they take the nets down? So we did remove the nets, and we will lock those courts just so people can't vandalize them. But we have people who take a lot of pride in those courts, so if there's any problems, I get a phone call.
Okay.
John? Yes, sir.
My first year, the tennis courts had frost heaves,
Mm.
and Alan Bailey and I were going to recommend to the town manager at the time that they lock up the tennis courts because somebody was going to get hurt.
Yes.
And I believe that was the year that a warrant article to repair them was successful after that. So they're very busy down there.
They are.
Brewster Tennis Courts gets a lot of pickleball play also.
Okay, any questions on the tennis courts? Okay, anything else, Christine, you want to talk to us about?
No, I just want to say I haven't seen any of you gentlemen at any of my programs or events, so feel free to stop by. I'd love to see you.
I was just 15 emails over
Oh,
there.
yes, I did, yes, I'm sorry, John, I have seen you. Oh, and I've seen you using the Pop Whalen for some meetings, so I do correct
Spending too much
that.
time up there.
But if you're interested in being a walker in our turkey trot, that's coming up November 23rd, or you could be a runner, or if you want to be a turkey, I have a costume you could wear.
And November 18th, the
Senior luncheon.
the senior luncheon is Thanksgiving dinner, right?
Right? Oh, good.
Looks like some of you might be of the age that you could register for that. It's 55
Yeah.
plus, so.
I was thinking about it. I was thinking, maybe next week.
So much for your capital ask.
We can just take a couple minutes, I want to revisit administration. And
Stop it.
So if you, before we put our books away, if you're done with them, we can dismiss them, but I believe Libby is still on your agenda.
Yes.
Chris,
Yeah.
I have one question. Sure. Last year, one of the more contentious items was a tractor. Parks and Recs. Was that fallen by
I have
the wayside?
trauma from that last year,
Yeah.
just so you know. That's why I didn't bring it forth again. No, it's not that we don't need a tractor. It's not that at all. But we got pretty beat up over it last year, and I didn't want to bring it forth. We did work well with the highway department, and lucky for us, we have actually 2 previous highway employees who work for us now, so we can definitely play nice. And we've been able to communicate with their new machine that they got. They've been able to help us when needed. So we have a very good working relationship. So that's what we're focusing on right now. I mean, in hindsight, it wasn't a bad thing because, you know, when you get that tractor, where are we keeping it? So then that really takes up some of our space. So we really had to think a little bit more about that. But right now, we're able to do what we need to do with highway supporting us. So we're grateful.
I assume they got rid of that blue one that you were hosting
Yes.
at your
Yeah.
facility.
Yeah.
I
So
think
if-
Jody Pearson took it.
So if anyone likes to shovel, you can always come over and help out. Volunteer opportunities are always available at Parks and Rec.
You're dismissed.
All right, see you guys next week.
Thank you very much.
See you
Thank
Tuesday.
you.
See you Tuesday, maybe.
Yeah,
Might be a
Yeah,
last
see you
one.
Monday.
Monday.
no. Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a
Thank
good
you.
night.
You too.
So Libby, I believe, is on your agenda, and it's the first page under Parks and Rec. Just that's where we put it because it rolls up under Parks and Rec, but it is not under Christine and her group. And when you get there, this department is down $20,373 or 42.6%. The Board of Selectmen had made a decision to remove the part-time positions for 2025 and to leave $5,000 in there for stuff like the phone, the internet, the security, I guess minimum utility type things. That is why you're seeing a large decrease in this budget for next year.
Okay, so we've got to get updated sheets, because I still have the supervisor's salary in here.
No, she stayed, not the part-time people. So they decided to keep the director,
Okay.
curator in there, but the next 2 positions, they had 3 part-time positions. Those funds have been removed for 2025. And then if you look at the bottom of page 4, you can see that the only thing left in the operating budget is a flat $5,000 for those items that I mentioned. They have internet, they have some security, they may need some water, electricity, that type of stuff. So we put 5,000 in there to maintain the building.
So what's the bottom line that you have for a figure?
$27,488 is what will be in the 25 budget.
I have one question, John.
Yes, sir.
Line 380, outside services, I noticed the regular cleaning is, quit. Are we shutting it down or what?
It's shut down, yes.
So, is there no cleaning or one cleaning going on an annual basis or what? Anything, nothing?
I think right at this point, we really don't know. We're going to get a report from H.L. Turner on the condition, and I think it's on the coming agenda. We're going to have a conversation. The Heritage Commission came up and volunteered to take the lead on looking at the future of the Libby and using their expertise along with the New Hampshire Preservation Alliance. And the Board of Selectmen took them up on that, because this is something which we need to solve. What are we going to do with it? Is the building, what do we want to do with the building? Is there a way that we can get it so we can find other trustees? We want to look at that whole process and the whole thing and see what is best for the community. They're going to, the Heritage Commission is going to try to get public sentiment on the value of the Libby. They have the time and the expertise to do it, so we were more than willing to have them help. It reminds me of kind of what we did with the ambulance. We sent it out to another group to take a closer look at it, so it's going to be a hard one for us to decide where we go with.
Yeah. It's going to be tough.
Traumatic.
Yeah, I think there's some strong feelings, I think, either way. It's
Yep.
not the Libby Museum.
And they did get it on the 7 to Save list this year. That doesn't mean that you have to follow all rules and regulations to do repairs to it, like if you got an L-chip grant or anything like that. But it just gives it a little bit more reason to try and protect it.
And they also were looking at maybe writing some grants and possibly doing some fundraising.
They'll do that, this group will do that.
Yeah, that's one of the things they offered us, so we raised our hand right away and said, yeah.
Maggie Steers, who's on the Heritage Commission and kind of suggested this to us, or asked if they could assist, is on the New Hampshire Preservation Alliance. That's where she works. And so we have some good resources to see
We
what
must have a budget for them somewhere in here, in our budget.
Yeah, I think they have something that's large, like $500.
No, I just wonder if they need more, we should probably
Well,
consider.
when we get there, we'll look.
Okay.
Before we get to that, Brian and I will go check out with them
Okay.
if they need any more money.
And we kept the supervisor salaries in there because if it goes to a warrant article, if something happens and we need to do construction or we get to that point, we wanted the curator still to be there because she's an expert in museums and artifacts and things like
Right.
that. So we figured we could use her instead of any outside services or whatnot to help with moving, packing, whatever else we need to do with artifacts when we do construction.
Have you ever found a, oops, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'm sorry, yeah, I mean, our town employee, or the curator, she is kept up to speed and engaged in what's going on.
Yeah, right now, she's part-time, so she's in Maine curating another facility. And she usually comes back to us in the spring and does the Libby, the spring and the summer and
Fall.
wherever we go to the fall, and then she's off again.
Yeah,
So-
and
so
the
more
only reason I
seasonal.
mentioned that is the last I heard, she was expecting to open up again this year.
I think when she left, we had not gotten the Turner report and seen some of the pictures that we have seen. And so there was the hope that we could just patch it up, but what I saw, I don't think
what I thought it was, but.
Mhm.
Do you have any contact with any relatives?
No, the last person I knew was Priscilla Griffin, and she died, so I don't know. You're getting a lot of generations and away from Dr. Libby.
Yeah, I
And
met
his kids
somebody,
didn't really keep it up, that's why we became trustees.
I met someone, I think he said he was his great nephew. He lives fairly close to the museum. And he was asking me questions about it.
Mhm.
Uh,
So is the Attorney General, because it's closed.
Yeah,
And we have they expect us to have it open and being able to run, so we're going to have to work on that also.
okay. Casey, anything else?
That is it. That was the last thing on your agenda. I don't believe I had any other follow-up items from Tuesday night. And I think we see you next Thursday night. I guess I didn't say, I handed out from the library director statistics of the library. She wanted you to have that before her presentation next Thursday night. So if you could take that colored document and put it in your library section, she'd appreciate that.
Okay, thank you. Okay, any questions from the public?
No problem.
Okay.
Other business,
Other business.
Yes, sir.
are we going to visit the minutes of which?
That's scheduled for next Thursday.
Next Thursday?
Yes, sir.
Then I'll deal with that, the visitation of the economic development,
Yep.
advertising at that point. 'cause
Sure,
it
yes.
has a lot to do with the minutes of the meeting.
Yep.
So, thank you.
Okay, so next Thursday, 6 p.m. at the library here.
Oh, yeah.
Looks like the library and police and communications. And we'll also do the approval of the minutes. Does anyone else have anything else to talk about?
I do.
Yes, sir.
Catherine notified me that I was the first person to pay my real estate taxes for this month. And if people have their taxes, or if people pay their bills, electric and water and sewer online, I got an email, I'm sure everybody else did, with an offer from, I don't know if it's the same company or not, to pay the tax bill online. So the numbers are out there. They're posted on the town, on the state website. I have a copy of them here if anybody's interested in them. But, so people, you'll be able to pay them or have them taken out of your checking account online from here on out. So, but I dropped it in the Dropbox in the back parking lot today, and they found it.
So,
There's no fee for that service, to use the service?
Oh, yeah.
There is
Oh,
always a
yeah.
fee.
not a fee to the town.
But
If you choose to use it, you pay.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that,
Yeah, the online thing, there is a fee, John, it's small.
not for property taxes.
No.
If you use a credit card or a debit card, it's $65 and change.
Wow.
If you have them take the money out of your checking account, it's 50 cents.
Right.
So I dropped it in the
Oh, that's
Dropbox.
what I meant. The checking account option is the cheapest way to do it.
Oh, yeah.
50 cents.
And to be clear, I was informed by the tax collector that
Right.
Bob Tuffer was the first to
That's
pay.
right.
And if you're wondering where your bill is, they're supposed to hit the mailboxes maybe Friday, but possibly Monday. And the reason he saw his is because he has the electronic online.
No, I always look at on the website. So
That's what I mean.
as soon as it pops in, I'm on the case.
Yeah, he sees it. So those of you who haven't seen your bill, it's coming, so.
I have.
And the due date is 12/19.
I have.
Pick yourself up off the floor.
That's because we haven't had that evaluation yet.
Don't
You know
you
it's
give
gonna
it.
go down.
No. We really
Absolutely.
This is good. This
The
is
rate
the
will
optimist.
This is pre-evaluation, I just threw up. After
Okay,
the
guys,
evaluation,
can I get a motion to adjourn, please?
Motion to adjourn.
And-
Second.
Second.
All those in favor say aye. Aye. Thank you, everyone.